We're back. So, Elise, I read this whole memo with my highlighter and my pen, and I got to this paragraph, and I burst out laughing and spit my tea all over myself. So I thought I would just share with everybody. So I'm reading along, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm struggling through parts of it. But I get to this. This is from the John Dowd memo linked to the New York Times. We express again, as we have expressed before, that the special counsel's inquiry has been and remains a considerable burden for the president and his office, has endangered the safety and security of our country, and has interfered with the president's ability to both govern domestically and conduct foreign affairs. He's not busy. And here's
what you mean executive time, Nicolle? He has 4 hours of executive time.
His intel briefing was at 11:30, so he had 4 hours of, George Bush's used to be at 7. He had 4.5 hours of executive. He spent 110 daytime visits to a golf club. He has one event on his schedule every day this week. There are maybe a lot of excuses, like he's a lying liar, pants on fire, executive authority, executive privilege, whatever it's called, but busy ain't one of them.
It's incredible that, as with everything in this White House, even legal documents, the victimhood complex seeps in. And it's all about what a burden it is for Donald Trump to defend himself, to wage a defense against these charges that, hey, maybe if he hadn't put himself in this situation, he wouldn't have to be dealing with in the first place.
But Jason, this to me, I know it sounds like a little thing, but this to me called into question the credibility of everything else. Because I made 5 calls today. Nobody describes him as busy.
No, nobody. And this is the thing. I read through part of it. It's like a conservative Republican Mad Libs list. You just throw in whatever words that you want to try and justify what they're doing. These men are lawyers. You would think that they know better. You would think that
their name is on it.
Exactly. Their name is on this nonsense. Their name is on these kind of documents. And here's the thing. Not only, of course, do we know that Donald Trump isn't busy, right? Because he spends too much of his time tweeting and complaining about SNL and going to golf courses. But also, if your most compelling argument, if one of your most compelling arguments is he's too busy to deal with the fact that he may have gotten into the position illegally, you don't have much of a defense. There's a lot of different things you could say. You could say, hey, this may be exposing the country for national security issues, et cetera, but not I'm too busy to face justice.
And here's the other deal. You know, George W. Bush, I don't like to hold him out as an example. I know his policies were very polarizing and unpopular, but he sat for an interview with Pat Fitzgerald while the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were raging. He actually was busy, and he may have been busy doing things that people hated, but he found time to sit with the special counsel.
As did Dick Cheney. Here's the irony of the I'm real busy defense. The very launching of that defense, I've got things to do and people to see, will prolong this investigation because he's saying you can't subpoena me, you can't interview me, you can't charge me. All of that headed to the Supreme Court. All of this going to drag out endlessly because of the president. So the I'm too busy thing isn't cutting it.
Why would they put that in there?
So I'm on the record, this is more Nixon than Clinton, but we are informed by something that happened during the Clinton impeachment, and it's this. Ken Starr, long after the impeachment, said privately, and he may have alluded to it publicly, that one of the things he wrestled with was that he thought the President of the United States had a higher duty to the law and to the American people than to invoke certain civil defenses that the rest of America would be afforded. And clearly, President Clinton's attorneys used every one of those civil defenses. Ken Starr suggested that perhaps he shouldn't. He had a higher duty. The political question, as it shook out, the Congress said, no, he's allowed to do that. I think what we're seeing in this Trump investigation, what we saw in this memo, though there are a lot of absurdities in it, many absurdities, his defense attorneys are making a defense attorney case, and they're allowed to do that.
All right, we have to sneak in our very last break. Don't go anywhere.